What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And obviously, following the announcements yesterday, the replacement of Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, the cancellation of Jamal Hill on the card, now we got Anthony Smith versus Carlos Ulberg, we've got Diego Lopes versus Brian Ortega. Barring any random late additions, which I doubt we're going to see, the card is finalized. UFC 303 International Fight Week, the UFC's yearly showcase, where they bring everyone together and they do a bunch of events and they have their Hall of Fame induction and then they have the big card. It is finalized. So we're going to be going through the card in today's video, doing a bit of an early prediction video, talking about the card and breaking down which are the good fights to watch on this card, because it's actually a pretty solid card. It's a good lineup. There's some good fights on the prelims. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about every single fight on the card. Not really going to be doing like an in-depth prediction, but sort of just discussing the matchups and what they mean and why they're good fights and all of that. So yeah, let's get into it and we'll start with the main event. So the main event, Alex Pereira versus Jiří Prochazka. I talked about it yesterday. It's a great fight. I'm looking forward to it a lot. It's obviously, we know the rematch from their first fight back at UFC 295, where Pereira won by round 2 TKO. A little bit of an early stoppage. That is sort of like the appeal to the rematch here. A lot of people went out of that sort of unsatisfied with the ending and saying that he didn't give Jiří a good enough chance to get back in the fight. Look, I'm still leaning towards Alex Pereira. I think he is going to do better in this fight. I think the longer into his light heavyweight career he goes, like the Jiří fight was only his second fight up at light heavyweight. So I think the longer he stays at light heavyweight, the more fights he has there, he's going to bulk up, he's going to be bigger. I think he's going to have a better chin as well. I think he's going to hit harder. I think his movement and his skills are going to have translated into the weight class more, and he's not going to be as sort of stiff. And because in that first Jiří fight, he looked a bit hesitant. He looked a bit you know what I mean? He didn't look that fluid with a lot of his shots. He was getting caught a lot. And maybe that happens again here. But he looked great against Jamal Hill. Pretty much didn't get hit with anything significant that whole fight. KO'd Jamal in the first round. So I do think that if Pereira is not severely compromised by the weight cut, he should win this fight by, I would say, first 3 rounds TKO. I don't think he's going to fully flat out KO Jiří. I'd be surprised if he full just booped him with one shot and just put him unconscious. That would be surprising, because we haven't really seen Jiří just get put out. That would be a very interesting sight to see. Be very sad as well. But also, Jiří's way to win is by finish. He's got to sort of survive the storm and win later on, because I don't think Jiří's going to finish Pereira in round 1 or 2. Pereira's going to chuck the kitchen sink at him, and then Jiří's just got to kind of survive and be like, okay, I'm still alive, and now I'm going to hit you really hard and you're going to die. That is what Jiří's got to do, because he was having some success in that second round against Pereira. He was tagging him a lot, and he was rocking him a little bit there. But Pereira, as I said, his chin is pretty fucking good, and I do think he'll take these shots all right. If he doesn't have a bad weight cut, I do have pretty high confidence he should get it done. But Jiří's just unpredictable. You can never be confident picking against Jiří in a fight, because I picked Rakic and I was like, Rakic is just way better technically than him. He's got wrestling, he's got striking, he can beat him everywhere. And I was looking correct, but then Jiří just decided that I'm not going to go unconscious from your extremely powerful punches, and I'm just going to still be alive. And then when I punch you really hard, you're not going to be able to take those shots. So I do think Jiří has a lot more danger, and I think he's got a lot more survivability than anyone Pereira's fought. We kind of know this, obviously. But it's a great fight. I'm looking forward to a lot. I talked about it. If you want to watch my initial reaction to them, to the fights, then go watch my video from yesterday, where I was talking about my thoughts on the matchups and my more in-depth predictions for the 3 big fights that got announced. But yeah, I do think Pereira's going to do well here. He's going to be chewing up the legs. This is only a couple months removed from both of them fighting at 300, and Jiří took a lot of damage at 300. Pereira really didn't take that much. He's got some broken toes apparently, but big deal. He'll be fine. Once you're in the cage, it's all good. He's just got to not fully dislocate his fucking toes and shit in training camp or in sparring or whatever, and he should be fine. If he gets to the fight, he should be all good. I don't think it'll matter. Just don't have a terrible weight cut. He says he weighs 227 right now, 227 pounds, so he's about 20 pounds off. I think he should get that off pretty easy, because we normally see those guys, when Volk took the fight against Islam, he said he was 180 or something, or he said he was 180, but then immediately he just stopped drinking and then dropped 5-10 pounds, and then you just get the rest off with water pretty comfortably. So I think he'll be fine. The weight cut should be okay. And yeah, style-wise, I just think Yuri's way too open. It's the same reason why I picked Pereira in the first fight. Yuri's just so open, and at some point or another, if a guy hits hard enough, because Yuri gets tagged and hit by everyone, the Rakic beating, he took a lot of punches from Rakic. Would it surprise me if his chin is a little bit worse? No. Got TKO'd by Pereira, went through war in the Glover fight, took some time off, got finished by Pereira, and then took a bit of a beating off Rakic and had to survive and come back in the second. Wouldn't surprise me if his chin was slight. Am I expecting to see him just get KO'd with a jab? No. But, would it surprise me if that same shot that dropped him in the first fight, full KOs him? No, that wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah, I'm going to be going with Alex Pereira. Really interesting fight. It'll be cool to see as well if Pereira can just keep adding to this fucking sport-breaking career that he's got, because he's just proving that you don't need to have a background in, martial arts. You just need to have, in mixed martial arts. You don't need to have done wrestling. You don't need to do jiu-jitsu, all that shit. He just came over here with some fucking kickboxing and just fucked everyone up. So Alex Pereira just continues to prove that martial arts is a fake sport. Mixed martial arts just isn't real. You can just be a kickboxer and win. No, but all just aside, he's a phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal martial artist. So if he can keep winning, keep adding to his Hall of Fame career. He's already in the Hall of Fame before this fight easily. Probably, I'd say he was in the Hall of Fame the minute he won the Yuri fight. I would say that cemented it. The Jamal Hill fight further cemented it. And if he defends for the second time, light heavyweight title, 2-division champion, I think he's no doubt about it. And he's starting to push himself into top 10 all time, as crazy it is to say, because not many people win 2 belts and even less people defend at least one of them. Obviously didn't defend the middleweight belt, but 2 defenses of the light heavyweight belt. You've beaten Blachowicz, you've beaten Jamal Hill, you've beaten Yuri already, you beat Yuri again. That's pretty much, then you just got Ankalaev, and then you've pretty much beat the whole top 5. So yeah, really good stuff so far in the career of Alex Pereira. Looking forward to seeing if he can keep it going. But Yuri might just autism max his way to winning his belt back, because that man is unpredictable, and you just can't trust in anyone to beat him, because if you can't beat what you can't kill. Honestly, with Yuri, I don't think Pereira is going to beat him by decision over 5. So if you don't finish him in the first couple, Yuri's just going to take over late, because he's just got the samurai will. He's got the storm, as he will say. But yeah, really looking forward to the fight. Great main event. Let's move on though to the co-main event. Diego Lopes versus Brian Ortega, the Eagle himself, the real Eagle, not Khabib. But this is the co-main event of this card, and it's really good. I talked about this yesterday. I'm looking forward to this a lot. If you've watched the channel, you'd know Lopes, one of my favorite fighters. I got a poster of the man on my wall. If you've watched my live streams, amongst other things that you might have heard, you would also know that I've got a bunch of posters on my wall, and I've got one of Lopes because he's one of my favorite fighters. He's one of my favorite prospects too. I've talked about him in videos before. Talked about him as a guy that I think has a good chance of fighting for a belt one day, and I stand by that. And I think because I believe that, I also believe in turn that he's going to smoke Brian Ortega, and I think he's going to win by TKO in the first round. That is my prediction, because Brian Ortega is open as fuck, and I might be retarded for saying this, but I maintain that Brian Ortega is not that good at fighting. He's very tough. He's the featherweight. He's got good jiu-jitsu, and he's a little bit better skills-wise, but he's a similar sort of concept to a Marvin Vettori. And I know a lot of people are going to hate that take, but because Vettori is just kind of shit everywhere. But if Ortega did not have a chin, he would have fucking 7 KO losses on his record by now. Volk would have finished him easily. Yair would have fucking KO'd him in the first round, because even though he did get dropped by Yair, who's not that big of a power puncher, so many times he's fought, he gets cracked a lot and he just relies on his chin. I don't like that against Lopes. I don't think you can rely on a chin when you're getting dropped by Yair. You can't rely on that chin to help you survive fucking uppercuts from Lopes, who's just sinking guys in the clinch. Against Sabatini, against Yusuf, he's just KOing you in the clinch with effort punches. He's not even crazy wind up, big overhand. These are close uppercuts in the clinch. He's just popping some shots out there, just hitting you, and then he's KOing you. What the fuck? So I don't think Ortega's going to take the shots that well. And Lopes is just so explosive, so fast twitch, so aggressive that if he hurts Ortega, I don't think he's going to fumble a finish like Yair did. Because Yair dropped him twice, went to the ground, was beating him up on the ground. I don't think Lopes fumbles that finish. I think if Lopes gets him down in that spot and Lopes starts beating him up, he ain't going to get swept. Ortega's not going to be able to successfully engage grappling like he did with Yair and take his back. And yeah, because Lopes has great jiu-jitsu. I saw Bedtime's video. He's picking Ortega by submission. I'm 90% sure Lopes doesn't have a submission loss on his record. I might be wrong, but I don't think he's ever lost by submission. You think Ortega... Who does Ortega actually sub? I know he's known to be the jiu-jitsu guy, but like when the fuck... He subbed Yair. Yair's a fucking rag. Everyone sub... Like if you've got grappling, you can sub Yair. Like, he subbed, what's his name? He knocked out Edgar. He subbed did he sub Cub Swanson? Is that who he subbed? Like, I don't know. This guy's submission skills are just fucking, like, they're alright. But, like, he doesn't push, like, an offensive wrestling game plan. His takedowns are mid as hell. Like, he took down Volk, like, once or twice. Really didn't do much. He only took down Yair in the second and third because Yair gassed, and Yair's a fucking rag, and you can toss him around with ease if you have any wrestling. So I don't think Ortega is that good. I know some people are saying Lopes overrated. I think Ortega's overrated. I had him in my video for most overrated fighters in the UFC. Go check it out after this. But I think Ortega's not that good. I don't know how the fuck he's got himself to be the number 3 featherweight in the world, fight for the belt twice, and win fights against other top contenders. It's just because he's got a chin. He's tough, and guys just fumble a finish and implode and then lose. So I don't think Lopes is going to do that. Lopes got too much momentum. Short notice, I think, also favors him. I don't know. I just don't think Ortega's going to do that well. I know this fight was booked for it wasn't announced, but it was like targeted, and like between the two of them, they knew it was happening for the Sphere card. That's another thing my inside source told me. It was done for the Sphere card, but they just kind of had to push it forward because they needed a bump to add to 303. So yeah, it's a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. I do think Lopes is going to smoke him, but maybe I'm going to make the fatal mistake of being confident in a prospect fighting up the rankings, because the last time this happened was BSD against Poirier, and I got that wrong. But I'm not comparing BSD to Lopes, and then I'm not comparing... I mean, they're similar-ish in terms of, like... Lopes is better than BSD skill-wise, but I'm not comparing fucking Poirier to Ortega, no chance. And also, style-wise, this matchup favors Lopes way more than BSD against Poirier, because Lopes ain't gonna fucking get taken down by Ortega. He's not going to get outstruck by him, I don't think. I think, like, maybe if Ortega can just slow down the pace, maybe, but I think round 1 is going to be hell for Ortega, and I don't think he survives it. So I'm going with the round 1 finish for Diego Lopes, and he's going to maybe get a title shot afterwards. But let's move on to the next fight. Anthony Smith, the best fighter in the world on paper, is going to be taking on Carlos Ulberg, and I think he's going to get KO'd. But this is a great fight. I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be a solid test for Ulberg, because even though he was fighting Jamal Hill, and obviously Salty Man Hill, he pulled out. You know, he's got some knee injury, apparently. He posted about it on his Instagram. I'm surprised he didn't chuck in a mention of, like, the only reason this happened is because I was focused on Pereira, me kicking Pereira in the nuts, and I was distracted. That's probably why he injured himself. But I'm looking forward to this fight. It's going to be a step up, because it's a step up for Menafield in terms of, like, veteran, like, what the opponent actually has in the cage, like what they're going to be able to do, the challenges they're going to bring, because Smith's got grappling, and Smith, even though he's shit and he's slow twitch, he's not as retarded as Menafield, so I don't think he's going to run at Ulberg and just get chinned immediately. But we see it time and time again, Smith cannot check leg kicks to save his life. If Walker chewed up his legs, Ankalaev chewed up his legs, even Petrino was landing a few leg kicks before he fucking handed a guillotine to Smith on a silver platter. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. I think Ulberg's going to win. He's going to chew up his legs. He's going to beat him up on the outside. His range striking is just way better. And I don't think he's going to fumble and let Smith take him down. And even Smith doesn't have the best offensive wrestling either. Like, who's the last guy Smith dominated on the ground? Like, who? Doesn't really happen that often. I think Ulberg will beat him up, finish him in round 1. But a good fight, though. Really looking forward to it. Definite step up for Ulberg. If he wins this, then maybe you just rebook the Hill fight. Not trying to let Jamal Hill get out of that pickle. Pause. But let's move on, though, to the next fight. MVP versus Ian Gary. Now, we knew about this, but as I said, I'm going through the whole card here. So, this fight is really good. I'm really interested to watch this fight. For some reason, it's still only the main card opener, even though Myra Bueno Silva is above it. But obviously, I'm ordering this video in like priority and like matchups that I'm interested in. But yeah, this is a good fight, and this is probably going to determine like who gets a top 5 opponent next at welterweight, because Gary would have probably got one if he didn't take this fight, if he just waited out for a little bit longer, because he probably did deserve a top 5 guy coming off this, like he's on a win streak, he's undefeated. But he wants to fight MVP. Originally he wanted to be on the Conor card, so now I feel like he'll probably be a bit annoyed, because that was kind of the whole purpose of fighting on this card, was to like share the stage with Conor, be on his card, and now that's not happening. So he's still going to have to do work here. The fight with MVP is really interesting, because I still don't know how good MVP is. Because he beat up Kevin Holland, but I don't think Kevin Holland's that good. And I think Kevin Holland is a guy that's just, if you get in a rhythm, it's really easy to just off-put Kevin Holland and give him no success. And then he just gets frustrated. And then he like goes like, oh, look at me, I'm imitating your style, which is beating me 30-27. Hey crowd, laugh, guys, give me some applause, even though you're literally just losing the whole fight. So, Kevin Holland's a guy that kind of zones out of fights. He realizes he's not good enough, and then he kind of just goes in third gear and doesn't actually try, because he doesn't want to have to put on a war and then like know that he lost. Like, he kind of would prefer to just float past like a getting out pointed sort of decision. That's my opinion on Kevin Holland. I don't think he's that good. But I do think MVP still looked very good in that fight. It's just like Kevin Holland is very hittable. So it's like, do I rate? It's just, I'm still not made up my mind for this prediction. I might early lean, I'm thinking MVP, but I might go Ian Gary. I might have to watch some more tape footage, because Ian Gary is a bit chinny, and MVP does, like, we're not too sure about his chin either. Like, he's got a decent chin, but I wouldn't say it's like a solid chin. Ian Gary's got dropped, he's got caught before, so I do think MVP is going to be the quicker guy, maybe. Ian Gary's probably got like the more like fundamentally sound, like good boxing, good low kicks, good this, but MVP's way more dynamic. He's definitely more powerful. That's like the clear advantage he has. I think he's a bit more like, he's definitely more explosive, a bit more fast twitch. Ian Gary might have to wrestle here. We might see Ian Gary shoot some takedowns if he doesn't want to risk it on the feet, because we see MVP on the outside just like in and out, just cracking people like with Kevin Holland. But also, the reason I picked Kevin Holland against him, maybe that was just a shit pick, which in hindsight it was, but it's because I watched some of his fights on the regional scene. I looked at some of their records, and I'm like, he is fighting bums, and he has lost fights. It's not like he's some undefeated guy, but he's a can crusher. Like, he'd lost fights even to not that good opposition. So I don't think MVP is like amazing, and I think he will lose to like any top 5 guy probably. But I still haven't made up my mind on this fight. I'm still going to have to watch some tape. I do think I might go with MVP just on the scorecards via like having more moments and looking better for the judges. But also, I don't think the UFC is actually that crazily behind MVP. Like, I don't think they are, because I think if they are, they would have given him like a really easy fight. Like, they would have given the easiest possible fight in the top 10, top 5, whatever. They would have just fast-tracked him to a belt and given him like one more easy win and then a title shot. Like, they would have just tried to get him, if they really wanted him to do well. I don't think they want him to do well, because I don't think Dana wants to see a guy coming over from Bellator like become a champion or like a top 5 guy. Like, sure, they'll take it, it'll be a cool addition, but then people can be like, see, Bellator fighters are really good. So I think they want Ian Gary to win. He's the guy that's undefeated. He's the guy that's got more upside. He's younger. He's he's more likely to get them some big fights down the line. MVP's got a fan base, but I don't think he really has the same star potential as Ian Gary. So I think the UFC does want Ian Gary to win, but I'm still not sure on this fight. I'm going to have to watch some more tape, because Ian Gary did get caught, but I do think he's improved since then, obviously, against Jeff Neal. It was a very boring fight, and that's another thing. Like, if he fights at that pace with MVP's going to win by just doing more and landing the more, like, impactful-looking shots, and he'll win on the scorecards, because Jeff Neal wasn't doing anything apart from clinch. But, like, the Magny fight was great. If he gets in that groove, like, against Magny, I know Magny's not very good, and MVP's a lot better than Magny, but, like, if he's that on, and he's landing shots that easily, I do think he can win on volume. But, yeah, I'm still not made up my mind. I'm going to lean MVP, but kind of whoever's the dog, I'll probably end up. I think Ian Gary's the favourite right now. So, yeah, I'll watch some more tape. I'll get back to you with a prediction come fight week. but that's my early lean. Very good fight, though. Looking forward to it. Let's move on, though, to another fight. Oh, salty man, Pyfer versus Marc-Andre Barriault. The big slugger, Marc-Andre. The big bruiser. Just he's going to swing some big meaty shots, as Lucas Tracy would say. Just some big arm punches. He's a guy that gets in there, he'll clinch it up a bit. He'll act like he's in a war. He'll do the bob and weave, and he'll throw some shots in tight, but in all likelihood, he's not doing a whole lot of anything. He had a solid fight with Chris Curtis, though. He actually looked not too bad in that fight. So I do think Pyfer is going to win, because I don't think Marc-Andre Barriault is that good. But Marc-Andre's not too bad. Like, he's a guy that can do some shit. He's all right. He got a scorecard against Chris Curtis. He won the fight in one judge's eyes. I disagreed with that, but it's all right. Chris Curtis is a pretty solid opponent. But Joe Pyfer, salty man himself, one of the OGs of the salt mines. He's carrying pure sodium into this matchup, so I'm picking Joe Pyfer to win by first round sodium. No, I think he'll win. He might win by TKO KO. He might win by decision. Look, if he levels up majorly after the Hermansson fight, if he really came back and he is much improved, then I think he should finish Marc-Andre Barriault, because Barriault has been finished before. He can be. He's not like a granite chin dude. He's got a decent chin, but he's not some like unbeatable guy. He's not some guy that's uncrackable. And obviously we all know Joe Pyfer hits harder than Francis Ngannou. That's just not debatable. If you debate that, then you're just a hater. So yeah, I'm picking Pyfer to win. Either win by round 1 or something like round 1 or 2 KO, TKO. Maybe gets a submission, maybe shows off some wrestling. I think he's just better everywhere in this fight. I think this is a good bounce back kind of showcase for him. So yeah. And normally, I would be saying, like, they would get some of these guys on a Conor card, and that's why they had them initially on here, but now, obviously, Conor's off the card. But it is a good showcase for International Fight Week. You've got guys that you want to, like, show out to the public. You've got guys that you want the casual fans to get familiar with. That's how you let them know that. You put them on this card, put them on International Fight Week. You let everyone know that this is the card to watch, and then you can get some of these prospects. You can get them a good spotlight. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up, we got Vinicius Oliveira versus Ricky Simone. This is actually one of my favorite fights on the card, apart from, like, the top 3. Like, I would say the main event, the co-main, and then MVP versus Gary are like the 3 I'm most interested in. This is my 4th most interesting fight on the card. I am really intrigued with this matchup. Ricky Simone, you guys should know him. The casual, I'm not saying like, no, not casual fans would know him, but like the semi-hardcore fans. I'd say pretty much all viewers of this channel would know Ricky Simone. He's been around the top. He's fought some good guys. He's fought Song Yadong. He lost. He beat Marab back in the day, which is aged very well. He fought Uriah Faber and lost. So this Ricky Simone's been around. He's fought a lot of guys, and he's a really strong wrestler. And that's why he is a pretty sizable favourite on the odds against Vinicius Oliveira. Now, if you don't know who Vinicius Oliveira is, go watch his Contender Series fight and then go watch his fight with Bernardo Sopai. And you'll see that this guy is so exciting to watch. He's one of the most entertaining guys outside the rankings at bantamweight right now. Really interesting prospect to watch. I think he's like 19-2, so he's got a lot of experience. A couple losses, of course, on his record, and he does have a bit of a grappling weakness. That is why I am not 100% confident that he gets this one done. I am picking him, though. It's a risky pick. It's an underdog pick, and it's a pick that I'm not sure if a lot of other notable sort of predictors, I'm calling myself a notable predictor, but I don't think a lot of other YouTubers are going to be picking Vinicius Oliveira, because I think everyone just knows Ricky Simone. I think most of the fan base will be like, I know Ricky Simone, I'll pick him. I don't know, who the fuck is this Vinicius Oliveira guy? But Vinicius Oliveira's got fucking power. He can crack and he can put people unconscious. He flatlined the guy on the Contender Series with didn't even look like a crazy powerful punch, just put his lights out. And against Bernardo Sopai, he had a tough couple rounds. He got grappled a little bit. Tough. He won the first. Second round, he got taken down, was getting beaten up on the ground, reversed it, ended up on top, beat the shit out of Bernardo Sopai. And then in the third round, just gassed Bernardo out, beat him up, and then got one of the best knockouts of the year with a flatline flying knee KO. This guy's dynamic as hell. His striking is amazing to watch. He's not even the most technical guy, but he just hits hard as fuck. He just throws shit from everywhere. He's out of position, he just throws another strike to get himself into position. He's awesome to watch. And I think he might catch Ricky Simone, because Ricky Simone against Mario Bautista didn't look all that good in my opinion. And he gets tuned up on the feet a lot. Now, if he can't take down Vinicius Oliveira, which I think he might take him down once or twice, but if he has to press like a heavy wrestling game plan, he might gas a little bit. He might get like tagged a little bit on the feet. I could see him getting dropped and then maybe shooting a takedown and getting him down. But if Ricky Simón tries to stand for extended periods of time with Vinicius Oliveira, I don't trust his defense, and his chin is not that good anymore. He was getting cracked and rocked by Bautista, almost finished in round 3. Song Yadong dropped him a bunch in their fight, finished him. He's been KO'd before. So I do think Oliveira, who's got a really long reach, he's got good rangy striking, and he just hits you a lot in fights. I think he could crack Ricky Simón. So I'm going to take him as an underdog in this fight. I'm looking forward to breaking this one down further in the full card predictions. But keep an eye on this fight. Right now, it's slated to be the first fight on the card. And now maybe they're doing that deliberately to like start off the card with a bang. But I wish this shit was like on the main card or like the prelim headliner, because Ricky Simón he's not in the UFC rankings right now, but he's a very high quality bantamweight just outside the rankings, has been ranked like not quite top 10, but pretty close before. And Oliveira is a big prospect, so I would prefer them to put it a bit higher up on the card, but it's all good. But yeah, keep an eye on this fight. If you don't know now, you know. I'm predicting this is going to be one of the fights. When Dana White does his if you don't know now, you know, it'll be this, and I think it'll be like Talbot and Gamori, which I'll talk about in a sec, or something like that. But I think this will be the if you don't know now, you know, because Oliveira's first fight in the UFC, that was the if you don't know now, you know. That's what Dana White advertised, and he actually gave Oliveira 100k. Obviously, we all know Max Holloway got the performance and fight of the night against Gaethje, but Oliveira got 100k, got performance of the night and fight of the night on that Apex card when he made his debut. So he made 100 grand in bonuses. So this dude he's gonna be a guy that just gets a lot of bonuses in his career. So yeah, keep an eye on him. Fun guy to watch. Let's move on though to another fight. Next up, we got Andre Fili versus Cub Swanson. This was one of the first fights to actually be announced for this card. It's a good scrap. I'm looking forward to it. Cub Swanson's a vet. Andre Fili's a guy who's also been around for ages. He's fought a lot of good dudes. If you look at Andre Fili's record, he's fought a whole lot of guys. He's lost to most of the notable guys you'll see on his record, but still, he's a solid fighter, fought a lot of good opposition. I think he'll beat Cub Swanson. I don't think Cub Swanson's that good at this point in his career anymore. He got a robbery decision against Hakeem Dawood. Even he himself said that he didn't think he won the fight. He's just older. He's showing up there just to fight. I think Fili, he's a guy that goes 1-1, 1 or 2 for 2, 1 for 2, 2 for 1. Like, he just wins and loses, wins, loses. Like, he's not the most consistent guy, but he's coming off a loss. I think this is where he bounces back, gets a win. It's a solid fight, though. Looking forward to it. Should be a fun scrap. Let's move on, though, down the card. Peyton Talbot versus Giannis Gamori. Now, this fight is a showcase for Peyton Talbot. And again, this was put on the card to give Peyton Talbot the showcase on the Conor McGregor card, and for people to be like, damn, look at this guy. And then they were going to see Conor fight in the main event and be like, oh my God, this guy's the next Conor, or like the next Sean O'Malley or whatever. Like, this was clearly set up. This is clearly set up for him to have a showcase, to show out, get like a big win. Because his win against Cameron Saaiman was really a breakthrough. But it was in the Apex. Not a heap of people watched it. There probably wasn't any like casual fans. Anyone that wasn't hardcore, like a hardcore fan, wasn't seeing Cameron Saaiman versus Peyton Talbot and being like, damn, Talbot's legit. But now you're gonna get him versus some Giannis Gamori. The last time he fought was fucking ages ago. Last year, I think it was last year not ages ago, but last year in Paris, he fought William Gomi, and he got nut shot TKO'd. He got kicked in the nuts and then the ref called it off. But before that, you know, he was getting the William Gomi special, you know, the French leg kicks at range, we call them. There's a car going past in the background. But yeah, this is why I'm not editing that shit out. But yeah, he got tuned up a little bit by William Gomi. He got the French kickboxing special, and I think he'll get a lot more of a beating here than just a range fight. He's going to get smoked in this fight. He'll get tuned up. Talbot is going to show out. Hopefully for him, you know, he's a zesty motherfucker, but he's a good fighter, to be fair. I love how MMA Guru, like, makes videos about, like, Jones being gay, and then, like, even though he probably is, but, like, it's not even, like, there's not, like, 100% confirmation, but then, like, Talbot is just zesty as fuck, and then, like, everyone's just like, it's kind of weird, but it's like, we hate Jones more for being gay than we hate Talbot for being gay, but that's just because Jones is a scumbag. But if they're just gay, but they haven't done anything like outside of that no one really cares. I don't know, I just thought I'd mention that. But I'm rambling. Let's move on though to another fight. Next up on the card, we got Silva versus Charles Jourdain. Now this might be another, if you don't know now, you know, fight on Dana White's Instagram video, because this is a great fight. This is a banger. Charles Jourdain, everyone kind of knows him. He's had some highlights. He had that Sparta kick sort of thing at the end of the fight. He's got some cool fights. You know, he beat the GOAT of Jiu-Jitsu, Kron Gracie. He lost to Sean Woodson, though, the fucking lanky motherfucker, worm, inflatable, fucking outside the car sales business, fucking inflatable thing that build fucking weird ass dude. I don't know what I just said there. That definitely wasn't English. But yeah, he lost to Mr. 78-inch reach at featherweight, but he's all right. Jourdain, though, he's just not overly consistent. You know, he subbed Ricardo Ramos. He's got some good wins. He's fighting Silva, though, who is a maniac. Silva is coming off a win over Weston Wilson, who is quite literally a walking punching bag, and he's about to be a walking punching bag tomorrow against Jekka Sadeghi. Obviously, if you watched this video after that card, let me know in the comments. Was I correct? Was Weston Wilson, in fact, beaten up and finished in the first by Jekka Sadeghi, which is my prediction? But yeah, Silva's a maniac. He fucking barks and shit. He's autistic as hell. We love it. He was going to fight William Gomis on the Brazil card. He was going to get a taste of that French kickboxing special, you know, those leg kicks at range. But Gomis looked like shit on the scale, if you remember. That was like, people were like, fucking hell, is this guy going to die? So that fight got pulled off the card, but now he's been pushed back a little bit. This is a great fight. It should be a fun scrap. I'm probably leaning towards Charles Jourdain just being more technical, but Silva might just be too much of a dog. Literally, because that man is barking. Let's move on though to another fight. Yeah, there's this fight here too, this bullshit, women's bantamweight fight. It's so funny that in any other circumstance, we've got, like, Mayra Silva is coming off a title fight loss. Normally, you will never see someone coming off a loss in a title fight with people so adamant that they should not be anywhere near the main card. Like, people want this on the early prelims, me included, because it's shit, no one cares. But Bueno Silva will probably win. I don't know, Chiasson, they're both lesbian, so it's like, who looks more lesbian? You got to go with Chiasson, obviously, with the short hair. But they are both lesbian, so maybe it'll just cancel each other out and there'll just be a normal fight, because normally you try and predict women's MMA, and if you pick the straight woman, you're just incorrect always. Just like last week with, or a couple of weeks ago with Mora and Denise Gomes. I picked Mora because she's literally like half a foot fucking taller than her and way bigger and one of the best prospects in women's strawweight. But she's not lesbian, so she lost. So if they're both lesbian, they just kind of cancel each other out. And then you just got to assume who's a better fighter. And even though she looked kind of shit in her last fight, I think there was a bit of pressure that got to her. I think she'll be fine here. She should win. Jason's not all that. She got finished by Irene Aldana. Let's move on, though, to another fight. Well, we got Martin Badai, the Shamil Gaziev victim, versus Andrei Arlovsky, the guy that Waldo Cortez Acosta was, like, showboating against, meanwhile, like, barely winning a 29-28. So, yeah, we got two absolute behemoths of the heavyweight division. They're going to duke it out, and it's going to be a fun scrap that will most certainly go 25 minutes, not 25, thank God. It's going to go 15 minutes. This is going to be a slog. This is going to be a difficult fight to get through. But yeah, that's what's going to happen. It'll be a very boring decision. I am probably going to assume Badai is going to win, but also any man that gets finished by Shamil Gaziev, I just don't know if I can trust. But Andrei Arlovsky lost to Waldo Cortez Acosta, and he got finished by Dontel Mays. So yeah, it's just like you got to think whose embarrassing losses outside the heavyweight top 15, whose losses are worse. So yeah, and who's got more upside? I'll probably lean Badai just because he's younger, probably a bit quicker. But yeah, who cares? Then we got this fight here. Carlos Hernandez versus Rei Tsesura or something. Some Japanese guy, I think, coming off road to UFC. He'll win. Hernandez is awful. Yeah, and then we got this other women's MMA fight, this pile of dog shit. Michelle Waterson Gomez will lose because she sucks. She's got cake on her, but nothing else to offer. But that is the card done, guys. These are little early predictions, early breakdown, little early preview. What are you thinking about UFC 33? What would you rate this card out of 10? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what fights you're most looking forward to. Josh Van just had a fight fall out against Tagir Ulanbekov because the rat Dagestani missed weight. I suggest putting him on this card, finalize it, 14 fights. They got 13 right now. Normally they do 14 fight pay-per-views cards a lot of the time. So I say do Josh Van on the card because he's also a good guy that you'd like to give a spotlight to. So give that man a fight. He's had fucking 6 fights. I swear to God, he's had like so many fights fall out. Give him a fight. put him on 303. Doesn't matter where on the card, just get him on the card. But yeah, that's it, guys. Leave some videos, ideas you want to see in the comments and shit. Like, subscribe, follow my Instagram, Left Lane MMA. And yeah, peace out, guys. See ya. Goodbye.